Welcome everyone to week 8. So we're going to do a recap here of the week 8 games heading into week 9. I will have another video coming up with some trades that happened since this is the trade deadline, as well as some re-signing updates. But to look at the schedule for week 8, we had the Chiefs versus the Ravens. These are two 1-5 teams. Or 1-6 with the Chiefs. Brandon Weeden comes away with the victory. 205 yards, 3 TDs. Kaepernick can't get it done. We see Trent Richardson, the rookie, getting 114 yards, overcoming Ray Rice. So the Ravens are tied with Jacksonville for the bottom of the league. Kansas City picks up an extra win to go 2-6 this season. Pretty dull Thursday night game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are continuing their progress, 7-1 over the New York Giants. So this is a big win for the Buccaneers. You see McFadden with 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. The strategy here is Gabbert is a game manager, and then McFadden is the guy to get the scores, get the touchdowns. You can see even Javid Best has 1 touchdown run. So 18 attempts for Gabbert, but then we see a collective 22 attempts, or I guess maybe they're 19 attempts there for the running game, 3 rushes for Gabbert. But Buccaneers looking good. Giants still fighting for a real playoff spot. Pittsburgh squeaks by the Tennessee Titans, going 4-4 on the season. You can see MJD only 47 yards. Lamar Miller with -2. Stewart 83, 2 touchdowns. Freeman having a pretty solid game, but unable to come away with the victory. Then we look at the Philadelphia Eagles squeaking by the Oakland Raiders, 17-14. McNabb having a lower score than he normally does, and he's normally higher up there, but struggling with 2 interceptions. New Orleans Saints get beat narrowly by division rival Panthers. You can see 28-25. Flacco with a 300-yard game. Then the Jaguars lose again. Now they drop to 1-6. Texans are 5-3 under now Tavares Jackson. So that was a QB change, and Jackson is helping turn this Texans team around. Jake Locker only has so much talent, but Jackson is like 81, 82 overall. And it wasn't, I didn't think it would take that long before he replaced him, and he did. Spiller, 62 yards. We see Murray with 68. Foles got injured, so Colt McCoy came in, threw the 1 touchdown, but again, not an ideal QB room there in Jacksonville. Cleveland falls again. So they lost last week to go 6-1. Now they're 6-2. We see RG3 able to get a victory here, going 3-4 now in the season with a field goal victory over the Browns. Doug Martin got injured very early on that first play, or that first real running play. And so Pierre Thomas came in after that. Browns do a good job spreading the running workload, 72, 40, and 30 yards. Obaniah getting the 1-yard goal line touchdown. The Jets beat the Buffalo Bills. Now they're 3-5. So after a really bad start, they're starting to get a few wins here. We will see if the Jets are able to keep that going. Very efficient, a perfect QBR rating for Alex Smith. He didn't need to throw for 200 yards. 193 was good enough, but 3 touchdowns, no interceptions makes the difference. Christian Ponder, 247 yards. Okay game, but no touchdowns thrown. Deji Karim is the new starter for Buffalo since Williams started fumbling like he was, insert fumbling reference. And then we have the Lions falling to the Bears. We see a 33-5 Lions, now 5-2 Bears. Jason Campbell really is elevating this team. We see a rushing touchdown for him. Glenn Coffey gets a touchdown. Mark Ingram II gets a rushing touchdown with 115 yards. The Lions are without Reggie Bush, so they have Danny Woodhead come in, and again, he can only do so much, 70 yards. Tannehill with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Then we look at the Cardinals falling to the Rams. Andrew Luck gets another win, going 500 on the year. Andy Dalton struggling a bit this season, now at 500. Falling to 500, excuse me. Tim Hightower got 3 touchdowns, one of his better games this year, trying to be the main back. There we see Donald Brown, Sproles getting 72 yards combined. Now Seattle who has had a rough year. They were 2-5. They defeat the San Francisco 49ers at home. We see Manning with 258 yards, Lynch with 70 and a touchdown. Foster only 71 yards, one more than Lynch. But then, of course, Breeze with the 2 touchdowns, falling short in this NFC West matchup. Then we have the Dallas Cowboys getting beat by the Chargers. It started off with a huge run by Adrian Peterson. And then the second play was another huge run by Adrian Peterson, running 75 yards and 1 touchdown on the opening drive. But despite that momentum, Joe Webb, who has been the starting quarterback since we benched Russell Wilson after throwing too many interceptions, falls short. But they were going against the San Diego Chargers. We see Aaron Rodgers nearly with 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers on Rodgers' part. We have Marion Barber filling in for injured Chris Wells. Gates with almost 100 yards receiving. Chargers are a good 5-3 team. With Oakland, Oakland lost, so they're 4-4, so Chargers have that game ahead in the AFC West. As we look at the Bengals, they fall short. Brody Croyle drove the team down for a game-winning 2-point conversion to 22-21, but Sam Bradford threw his team back into field goal range, and they won with a field goal. So Denver squeaks by, going 4-3 on the year, with the Bengals dropping to 4-4. Croyle did all he could as a quarterback, but 2 interceptions did not help him. We see Marino, who got hurt, so Lendell White and Montario Hardesty came in for him, but Bradshaw got 2 touchdowns rushing for Denver. Then Peyton Manning gets a win to go up to 500, bringing the Packers down to 500. We see a 361-yard, 4-touchdown game. Perfect game by Peyton Manning. We see Larry Fitzgerald with an insane 172-yard, 2-touchdown performance. Braylon Edwards also getting some action with 2 touchdowns. The Packers just fell short. I mean, the Packers have a solid defense, gave Manning a hard time, but Manning was still able to overcome. We see the rookie, Ronnie Hillman? Yeah, Ronnie Hillman, the rookie, gets a touchdown, or actually he gets 2 touchdowns and 72 yards. And LeSean McCoy was the lead back, but Hillman just had some good runs this game, so good for him, good for the rookie. Then the AFC West matchup, we see the Miami Dolphins going 20 and the Patriots 28. We have Tom Brady, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, doing everything he had to do to win. The Dolphins with Newton, they were up early in the game, but they were unable to keep the victory. So the Patriots are 7-0 on the year. So looking at the division breakdown, we've got the Patriots clearly in the lead in the AFC East. All the other teams are 3 wins. Jets finally coming back. I did not expect the Dolphins to be so bad. I thought with Calvin Johnson Jr. and Cam Newton, they'd be just destroying everybody. But that's not been the case. Let's see. We look at Miami. Let's go to their schedule. Lost to Cleveland. They beat the Jets. They beat Oakland. They lost to Carolina. Lost to Colts. Lost to Buccaneers. Beat the Saints. Lost to New England. So they got some work to do if they want to turn this season around. We see the AFC North is getting more competitive. Browns losing 2 games in a row. Not good for them because Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are still moving on up. Baltimore is not a concern this year. They're going from first to worst this season. We'll see if Cap can turn it around. The Houston Texans are leading the division by half a game just because of the bye week. Colts still are likely a good chance of winning the division. Tennessee, who started off 3-1, are now 3-5, so they've taken some L's recently. Jacksonville 1-6, just abysmal. The AFC West, we have the Chargers ahead. Broncos are now 4-3, so they're on a 4-game win streak after going 0-3. So some Sam Bradford, Doug Marrone, Coach Magic, making the Broncos competitive there in the West. And then Kansas City, 2-6, kind of laughable. We see in the NFC, the Commanders and Eagles are tied essentially with the half game going to the Commanders. Giants are struggling, which I didn't expect. And then Dallas, just sad. Just so sad. I mean, they might get to 7-10 again. We'll see. But we see the Chicago Bears 5-2, Green Bay Packers 4-4, Minnesota Vikings starting to get some games back, but again, they're not doing great. And Detroit, they were able to beat Minnesota, which is why they're 3-5, but they're not really a real contender. Not having Reggie Bush hurts, but they're also just not that solid of a team. I guess Rob Ryan as a head coach has left something more to be desired. Buccaneers are doing it with Blaine Gabbert, with Darren McFadden leading the way, 7-1, best record in the NFC by 2 games. Carolina Panthers are 4-3, working their way back. Falcons working their way back, trying to get into that playoff picture. Saints 2-6, not looking good for them. Probably a season firing for McDaniels unless he turns it around. Then we see the 49ers going 5-3. They've got that 1-game lead over the Rams and Cardinals. Seattle has all the talent in the world, but they just need to get it together. We'll go through the league leaders real quick here. I don't want to make the video too long, but we see Manning still leads the passing for the league. Rushing, McFadden already over 1,000 yards and only 8 games in. We have receiving with Greg Jennings at the top, Calvin Johnson right behind him essentially. And then, of course, Calvin Johnson still killing it with touchdowns. Tackles, not sure how much you care about those, but Branch leading the way. Geno Atkins leading in sacks by 0.5 with Ray Edwards right behind him. Justin Miller still leads with 7 interceptions. Kicking Vinatieri. As for rankings, we got Tampa Bay, New England, Cleveland, Washington, Eagles, top 5. Eagles have number 1 defense. Denver is shocking everybody with the top defense in the league, with the Patriots and Colts right behind them, which is interesting because normally these two teams don't do well on defense. As we look at the worst teams, it's, of course, Jets, Jaguars, Broncos offense is trash. And so maybe we can attribute the success of the Broncos more to the defense than the offense, I suppose. But that's kind of, when we look at the upcoming week, we have the Commanders and Patriots on Sunday Night Football, the big game there. The undefeated Patriots versus the NFC East leaders, Commanders. I will have a video coming out with some of the Week 8 trades and re-signing so far. But hope you enjoyed this video. We've got more coming up, and we'll see how your favorite team does coming up. If you haven't already, feel free to like or subscribe to this channel because there'll be a lot more content on this type of gameplay. Thanks for watching.